Bonjour, comment allez-vous? Hello, how are you? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm friends with Anubhav. If you have already subscribed to my channel, press the bell icon to get the latest updates. In today's class, we are taking up a new topic, which is direct and indirect speech in French, or discours direct et discours indirect en français. So today we will be discussing direct speech and indirect speech in French. This is the part 1 video. This topic will be continued in my next video as well. So first, talking about what is a direct speech and what is an indirect speech. So, discours direct or direct speech is when you are quoting the words of another person directly. When you are quoting the words of another person directly, that is discours direct. And now talking about discours indirect or the indirect speech, here when you are referencing to referencing what another person has said without putting them in quotes directly. So in direct, you are directly quoting the words of another person, and in discours indirect, you are not quoting the words directly, but you are referencing to it. Let me give an example. Suppose Anubhav said, comma, inverted commas, I am a French teacher. Now this statement is in direct speech. Suppose some other person is speaking about me, that what did I say? That Anubhav said that, Anubhav said, I am a French teacher. That is direct speech. Now talking about indirect speech, when he is not referencing my exact words, he is altering them without quoting them, right? So it would be Anubhav said that he is a French teacher. Let me write the same example in French. I want to discuss some points. Fine. So let's write in direct first. Anubhav, B, je suis un professeur français. This is direct speech. And talking about indirect, Anubhav, D, qu'il est un professeur français. Fine. So in the first one, Anubhav, D, je suis un professeur français. That's direct speech, and here it's indirect because you're not putting my words into quotes. One small point I would like to say here, like what do we do in English? Like we would say Anubhav said, comma, inverted comma at the beginning, and then inverted comma at the end of the quote. Right? That's how we do it in English, but in French it's not the same. In place of this comma, you put a colon. Okay, and in place of double inverted commas, you use double guillemot, guillemets. I I hope that's the pronunciation. Let me write it here. Yes, GMA. These double uh, brackets, similar to what we used to do in greater than less than, like this at the opening and this at the end. So that's how we do the punctuation for direct speech in French. And not, we don't use double inverted commas in French, we use these brackets and colon. One more thing I would like to point out, that in while converting from direct to indirect, like this colon, in place of this colon we got cur, and in place of je it became il. So the second point we will be discussing shortly, but one point which I would like to discuss right now is that when we are converting from direct to indirect, we do it by putting cur in between. Cur is what? It can be translated to that, right? Now let me erase it. In fact, I would say here it should be the Professor de Frances, because I am not French, I am just a teacher of French, so I think Professor de Frances will be better. Okay, so now talking about the changes which take place when we are switching from one speech to another speech, from direct to indirect or indirect to direct. Like these rules which I'm going to write here, that will help you in both the manner. Like talking about exam, how you can be asked direct and indirect speech in your exam. You can be simply given a handful of direct speech sentences and you need to convert it indirect. It could be vice versa as well, that you are given indirect and then you need to convert it back to direct. Or it could be, to bring a twist, it could be mixed. Like in a single question they can ask both. Like they have 5 sentences in one question, 3 will be direct, 2 will be indirect, and then you need to make the changes. So in that manner also it can be asked in your exams if it's in your syllabus. Okay, so talking about the changes which take place while switching from one speech to another. First would be change in the subject pronouns, change in subject pronouns and possessives, be it adjective or be it pronouns, right? So the subject pronouns will change and the possessive pronouns will change, as we discussed in my previous example. Anubhav said, I am a French teacher. Direct speech. Anubhav said that he is a French teacher. I got changed to he, and what's that? A subject pronoun. I is je in French and he is il in French. So je got changed to il, isn't it? In the same manner, let's have one more example. Peter dit je veux voir mon père. I want to see my father. Okay, Peter dit je veux voir mon père. That direct speech, like we are quoting the exact words. Now we need to make a reference without quoting the words directly. So it would be Peter dit qu'il veut voir son père. I hope you noticed some changes over here. First, we removed again one more thing. Like when you are converting from direct to indirect, you need not to put the colon and the brackets. Just keep in mind that. Just keep that in mind. Okay. So, talking about the changes which took place. I hope you also have noticed we have "ka," here we didn't have "ka," here we have "ka," which is joining the statement which represents that. "Je" got changed to "il," change in subject pronouns, as I said over here. So "je" changed to "il." Like, think of it. No, Peter said that I want to see my father. Now that would mean that you're talking about yourself then, if you're saying so. Like, Peter said that I want to. Right, that would mean that you're talking about yourself. You're not talking about Peter. That what does he said. Right. So when you're putting that, it should be he after that. Hence it will make a meaning. Peter said that he. Here it would be referencing to the statement which Peter said about himself. Right. Peter D killed verb. Oh, that's the next point which I'll be discussing, not to be discussed right now. This one, possessive will change. Think of it. Peter said, if it was more here, Peter said that he wants to see my father. Meaning has completely changed, isn't it? Completely changed the meaning if we didn't change the possessive. Though it's a meaningful sentence, but it's not what we want to say. We want to convert this particular statement into indirect speech. Hence, more shall be changed to so. The thing is, the possessive should be in sync with the subject pronoun over here. Right? Like, if we have "il" here, then it would be "so" here. Adjective possessive you can watch. It would be a helpful video if you haven't. Adjective possessive. Right? I have a video based on it. The link you will be getting it in the description box below. So Peter D killed voir son père. Peter said that he wants to see his father. Moving to the second point, with the same example only it would work. As I pointed out few seconds back, I just underlined this word, verb. Why did I did so? Why did I do so? Because number second is conjugation changes. And of course, conjugation shall also be in sync with the new subject pronoun, isn't it? Peter D killed verb. Like with "il," verb vouloir is the verb which means to want. Verb is the conjugation with "je." You can't write it with "il," right? With "il" you have a separate conjugation. You have veut with "il." So "il verb." So it will change accordingly as per the subject pronoun, right? So "je" verb changed to "il" verb. Now moving to the third change which takes place. So, there are some cases in which the verb tense also changes. Conjugation is changing, that's another thing, but sometimes the tense changes as well. So, third, you may say change in the verb tense. Now, which all tenses will change? Present will become imparfait. Present will become imparfait. Passé composé will become plus que parfait. Then future, futur. Future tense will become conditional or conditionnel. And lastly, futur antérieur. It will become what? Conditional passé. Now this is present conditional and here it would be conditionnel passé. See, the reason why I mentioned the playlist tenses in French directly because there are so many tenses, and if you have missed any of them, you must watch it and you will be getting that in that playlist. So it's really helpful. Now you may think in my previous example it was a present tense only in the dialogue part and then I didn't convert it into imperfect. See, here present will become imperfect when we are referencing about in the past, right? Here in my previous two examples, we were referencing to the present time, isn't it? When we are when we are what? Talking about past, referencing past, right? He said, not he says. He said, like LRD. In that case, present will become imperfect. When, and mind it, this is for direct and this column is for indirect. So if in your question or if you need to do from direct to indirect, then you need to go from this to this. And if you need to revert back from indirect to direct, then from here to here. So present will become imperfect. Similarly, passé composé, the past tense will become plusque parfait. Okay. Future tense, futur, it will become what? Present conditional. And futur antérieur will become conditionnel passé. All these tenses have been discussed by me in my YouTube channel, and all those videos are present in the playlist titled Tenses in French. The link is present in the description box below. Now these were the cases where the tense changes, the tense of the verb changes, but we do have some tenses where there's no change at all. Let's discuss about them. Like when you are going from direct to indirect or from indirect to direct, there won't be any change in those tenses. So let me just enlist them. Perfect. Let me write it full. Possessive. Yeah. Fine. So, which all tenses won't change? First we have imparfait. Next we have plusque parfait. Then we have conditionnel. Then we have futur antérieur. No, sorry, futur antérieur changes, no? To conditional past, no, futur antérieur shall not come here. Oh, sorry. We have subjunctive. Right. Imparfait, plusque parfait, conditionnel, subjunctive, yeah. So basically we have these four tenses which won't change when, and this goes for both present and past, présent conditionnel and conditionnel passé, both of them. So when you are going from direct to indirect, the tense will not change. Conjugation will change for sure, as it will depend on the subject, but here it won't. Like here, the tense won't, but there are chances that conjugation changes. Okay, so imparfait will remain imparfait in direct and indirect both. If indirect is plusque parfait, it will remain plusque parfait only in indirect. Similarly, same thing goes for conditionnel and subjunctive. I would like to put a halt over here because in my next video I will be discussing sentences of overall topic of direct and indirect, which will be covering all the aspects, the change in the tense and the change in possessive, change in subject pronoun, every aspect will be discussed in those examples. And there are some reporting verbs which indicate which we use, not indicate, which we use for doing indirect speech. Okay, so those will be discussed in the part 2 video of direct and indirect speech. So c'est tout pour aujourd'hui. That's all for today. If you like this video, please give that thumbs up and subscribe to our YouTube channel Learn French with Anubhav. And if you have any doubt or suggestion, you may write that in the comment section below. You may also like my Facebook page by the same name, Learn French with Anubhav. See you in Direct Indirect Speech Part 2. Thanks for watching. Au revoir, n'oubliez pas que la langue française est l'amour.